Hello, YouTube. It's Friday morning. 11:20 a.m. Friday, December 2nd, 2022. And I noticed my dashboard clock is now over a minute behind. I had it really close. I had it to the point where, like, for a part of a minute, I could look at it and actually see what time it really was. But as I picked it up, I noticed that I picked up my Obama phone to look at the actual time. I noticed that while my Obama phone said 11:20, the clock radio in the car went from 11:18 to 11:19. So there's that. And no, I still haven't found the mounting bracket that's somewhere in my home for mounting an aftermarket stereo in here. Now, I had kind of made a personal decision that I was going to hold off on changing out the stereo in my car until I could find that. But now I'm starting to think that maybe it's just time to make this poor dysfunctional thing go away and just buy another adapter one. I can always flip the one that I bought that I ended up not using because I misplaced it when I found it. I don't know, thinking about that. Not that that's a top priority, it's just on my mind every time I look at my car stereo and realize that even a function as basic as the clock doesn't work correctly. Also, that hole in the knob on the upper right hand corner kind of picking at its broken pieces, and it still works, but it's gotten notably worse and uglier, and I don't like it. So this is kind of an odd time for me to be awake, at least awake and out and about, but I feel fairly well rested. I feel like I've slept enough hours of actual good sleep, so I'm going to try to have a functional day today. Now I do have an extra shift that I'm scheduled to work, and even though mandatory extra time was canceled this week, my mandatory extra time day remained on my schedule because they're still putting my mandatory extra time day on Thursdays, even though I have asked repeatedly and gone through the app and tried to change it to where it's anything other than Thursday. Yeah, they still keep putting it on Thursday. And the only way I'm ever able to fix that is to use shift swap and swap it out for a Friday or Saturday. Now, so far, the last several, I've lost count of how many times it's been. It's been a lot. The last several times I've used the shift swap feature to swap out my Thursday for either a Friday or a Saturday. It's worked, and it's somebody swapped it out with me within a day or two. Sometimes it's like within minutes, but I think this last time it took a couple of days. But anyway, something about the way they're handling scheduling at Amazon, since I have a swap shift as opposed to my initially assigned on a night I can't work mandatory extra time shift, they've taken it away. And granted, as I mentioned in my last video, I could probably go to HR and try to get them to drop the shift, but I actually want to work tonight. I'm so frustrated with Priscilla that I'm just kind of trying to avoid her, and the best place to avoid her is at work. And I've been really, really depressed the last couple of weeks. I mean, to the point where it's dramatically affecting my mental health. Somehow I managed to pull off the party God, I guess it's been almost 2 weeks ago now, at Cafe Marnard. I managed to pull that off with flying colors, but I practically had a breakdown a couple days before as I was setting up. So or as I was, getting things ready to go set up. So that was, that was not good. Last night, the second week in a row, my show at Bullocks was with me in such a mental state that I was barely able to even pull off the show. In fact, I had a singer that left frustrated. I'm not really sure what she was trying to say to me. I think she was trying to tell me that she wanted to sing a different song other than the song that she had written down, and I could not make out what it was she was saying that she wanted, because I literally could not hear what she was saying over the screaming in my own head, which is it's scary when the schizoaffective disorder symptoms get that severe to the point I can't communicate with people. I can't function. So I'm hoping that doesn't become an issue at Amazon. I have had a couple of times where I've gotten a little on the point where I'm starting to have some of those kind of symptoms at Amazon, but I've always been able to kind of head it off at Amazon. At this point, Amazon, especially since I've been back to driving, Amazon's kind of a comfort zone for me. It's oddly kind of turned into my safe space. When I'm busy and I'm on a forklift and I'm loading a truck or unloading totes, I'm so completely in my zone and in my space that ends up being something that kind of puts me at ease. Now, it used to be hosting karaoke was that for me as well too, but lately it just hasn't been. Especially at Bullocks. And I'm trying not to let the way things have been going there influence my thoughts to the point where I'm feeling racist. But I tell you, there's moments where I'm starting to, and some of the things going through my head, and the voices in my head are saying some extraordinarily racist things, and it's hard to block it out. It really is. And I'm sure there are rude people of all races that run up and try to high-five a karaoke host that clearly doesn't wish to be touched, and yells things like, "Yo, give me that mic." I suppose. Not that I've experienced that coming from anything other than one race at that bar for quite a while. Most of the people there, though, really good as usual. I had Jazzy trying to put me at ease. At one point, she came up and gave me a hug, and I don't know if that made me feel better or worse. I was trying desperately to actually escape her hold because I was so freaked out, which is bad. I mean, normally I'm all about being held by Jazzy, so. Yeah, I think what would have really helped is if she'd asked me to, go home with her after the show. But by the time I put on the closing song by Red Peters, I was in such a fragile mental state. Oh, and the last singer, who I showed her that I had her song queued up, but then she kept trying to tell me something else, and I couldn't really make out what she was saying for the screaming in my head. And I tried to communicate to her that I can't change the song. I can't handle looking at the song right now. I can't understand you. And I think when that arises, people don't understand me and don't understand just how severe my mental illness symptoms could be that I'm trying to work through. would be nice if more people were understanding of that sort of thing, but it's that's a world I don't think I'll ever have the privilege of living in. So it is what it is. Either mask and try to act normal, or face the ridicule when you have an illness that, you're missing an arm. People understand that you're missing an arm. If you're missing an eye, people understand that you're missing an eye. But if you have mental health problems, people just think you're weird or an asshole. So it's kind of my cross to bear, I guess. And of course try to not be too persuaded by the voices that tell me the best way to escape that situation is to check out of this planet early, the way my ex-wife did. The way I often wonder that maybe my older daughter might have, because I haven't heard from her in a while now. She still has stuff at my place that I think she would be, coming back for, but she hasn't. So on a brighter note, I'm up at a reasonable hour. So into the show last night. Yeah, the show was pretty much terrible last night. It seemed like I was having problems with the house PA again, with it cutting out. But honestly, it was there was just so much noise in my head. Any attempts for me to try to balance sound out correctly were kind of lost. I was mostly using the VU meters to try to dial things in and just as best as I could, how much vocal am I hearing versus how much music. I had one guy that was incredibly rude and pushy. He's like, I'm a professional singer. Motherfucker, the only singer getting paid on the payroll tonight is me. So you're not a professional singer in this context. Like, he seemed to think that he shouldn't have to write his song down because of that. He seemed to think it was acceptable for his friend to be, hey, could give me a favor? Hey, you hook me up with a favor. No, I'm not in a position to hook up anybody with favors right now. I really don't do that. Didn't seem to understand that response. Should have asked him to hook me up with a favor. Anyway, and that guy basically was all but swallowing the microphone while I was singing, and singing so loud that he was overloading it. Now, was he overloading it in a way that I could have maybe adjusted the knobs to compensate for? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Again, my mental state was so bad that I couldn't even really, that was all I could do to just keep the show going. But yeah, it sounded absolutely terrible. I was singing, and then of course his friend, who I had explained once before that, hey, if you're not here talking to me about your song, you're not helping your friend's case. You're actually taking away from the time that I could be using to put this song in. Well, at that point he was fucking bitch, get off there. That is not a pedestrian space. Damn. Nearly hit that fat bitch. Holy shit. So, God, ADOT really needs to get those people off the road and start ticketing them. That it's clearly signed, no pedestrians there. It really clearly is. Damn. Dang, that freaked me out so much. Now I forget what I was trying to say. Anyway, almost the bar. So yeah, at the end of the night, Jazzy didn't even say goodbye. I was in such a bad state mentally that by the time I got the closing song, I just curled up in the DJ booth, or whatever you want to call it. I just curled up in that space on the floor and closed my eyes for about 10 minutes until I could tell most people had been removed from the bar and the noise level had driven down. Just all their voices commingling on top of the voices in my own head was just more than I could bear, and I think I just was doubled up in a ball crying until it stopped. I did get paid in full. That's a perk, since Bree shared me $5 yesterday or last week, with Sean not being there. I also had a problem last night I was ready to go. Thursday night football game ended kind of late. I want to say at about 9:30-ish. And I'm always ready to go at 9. unless I have some kind of a unusual technical problem, which doesn't happen very often, I'm ready to go at 9. And sometimes they let the post-game show play, which is kind of short, and sometimes they don't. Well, anyway, during the post-game show, somebody turned on the jukebox. One of the bartenders turned on the jukebox without turning off the sound for the post-game show. Now, they did shut off. I didn't see it happen, but somebody did shut off the projector and put the projector up. But I don't understand why they turned on the jukebox instead of just saying, "Hey, Dan, go ahead and start the music now," if they didn't want to run the sound for the post-game show. And keep in mind, for me, it's hard to tell the difference between the sound of the game and the sound of the post-game show. As a person who absolutely dislikes football and isn't particularly into sports whatsoever, most sportscasts just sound like noise to me, just like barking, like just a bunch of, it's just like word salad. 24th and down and 16 and 14 and grabbing his balls and on the pinch hitter with the 4th down and flag to the punt, and it's just word salad to me. I don't and I have no desire to understand it. It's just I would rather not be around it, but it's part of my job. I have to be around it. But somebody could just give me a clue in English, like, hey, we want to stop the sound for the football game and start music now. I can do it. But instead, they turned on the jukebox, which just made me feel horribly disrespected and frustrated. And on 3 separate occasions, I managed to synchronize music videos with the music that was playing on the jukebox. And usually when I do that, like, the bartenders kind of get the hint that, oh yeah, Dan's actually running on top of the jukebox. Let's just silence the jukebox and let Dan continue doing his thing. But they just never did. At one point, it just got so frustrating of me doing that and them not doing it, that I just sat there. For a while, I sat at the bar. Well, one time, Bree, and at one point I'm there, and Bree comes up to me and goes, well, aren't you going to start? I'm like, yeah, I can't. The fucking jukebox is on. And she's like, well, you need to tell us when you're ready to go. Bitch, I'm ready to go at 9. You need to not turn on the fucking jukebox. I really just needed not to be around public and people, but the problem with these gigs, these karaoke gigs like that, is I just don't have the option. I just don't have the option of, unlike Amazon, I can't use, PTO or UPT or Shift Swap or whatever. It's me. I'm reliant on me to come in. And every time I quit this gig. Although I got a feeling if I quit this gig, that's pretty much the end of my karaoke. And that'll be leaving a big part of me behind. Anyway, on a brighter note, I finally recovered the password to this Google account and this YouTube account. So I'm able now, finally, to upload directly from my iPhone and to check my Gmail on my iPhone and get at my Google Drive from my iPhone. So that's and to log into other devices because I was able to change the password to something that I know. So this is a big thing that I've been trying to accomplish for, I feel like, over a year. So that's a huge that's a big step forward, big step forward. And it allowed me to upload the video that I uploaded this morning, which is from Thursday morning, which I was not sure how I was going to accomplish because it was 2 videos put together, which I edited together with iMovie, and for some reason, like, I can set the output resolution when I'm saving a file from iMovie, but I can't set the bit rate. And it saves at such a high bit rate that even though I only had, and granted the videos are like an hour and 15 minutes long, hour and 20 minutes long, something like that, but the 2 files together going into it were just a little bit over 3 gigs. And the resulting output file was over 6 gigs. That's ridiculous. Like, saving it that much higher of a bit rate doesn't make it look any better than the source file. So what's the point? I don't get it. And it's frustrating. If anybody is familiar enough with iMovie for the iPhone and knows how to adjust that, please leave a note in the comment section, because I haven't been able to find anything Googling that. Just absolutely haven't. And I suspect there might not be any way to do it, just in the way Apple is notorious for just dumbing shit down for people by taking away options. With the assumption that you'll just keep spending more money for more space. Anyway, I need to get in the bar. That's pretty much what's up. Towards the end of my show, I did get a text message from Priscilla asking if I could help her with something in the morning, and asking if I was doing okay on the show, and I didn't even respond to it. I figure if she really cared how my show was going and really wanted me to help her with something in the morning, she would have been with me there at the show, and she wasn't. She's not there for me. I just no longer have any desire to be there for her. So, on that note, I'm going to the bar, going to get my breakfast and try to work on music for a while. I got everything I need to go directly to Amazon from here, so that's the plan. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on the drive. And, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy YouTube shit.